Hi, I'm Carmine from Algiers Regional Library, and I'm here today to show you the craft of paper weaving. So today we are going to be making weavings that sort of look like this, but you can use whatever color you want to. So let me show you what you're going to need to get started. You're going to need a piece of paper. It could be construction paper, you could use newspaper, you could use wrapping paper, pretty much any paper that you have on hand. You'll need at least one to be like what we would call the warp if you're weaving, and then some other pieces to weave through, okay? So, and you'll want to make sure that the ones that you weave through are as long as the other piece. So to get started, you're going to find a piece of paper and you're going to fold it in half. You can fold it lengthways or the short way. It doesn't matter. Either way works. But what's important is that you fold it precisely in half. And then we're going to just start cutting, and you don't want to cut all the way off. So if you're doing this with young children, it might be helpful to draw on some guidelines to show them where to cut. This is a great way to practice scissoring skills, getting people ready for kindergarten. So, ooh, what happened to my marker? So, roughly a centimeter apart or even half an inch apart, that's fine. But we're gonna cut up, not all the way off, we're gonna leave maybe an inch of border, but we're gonna do this the whole way down our paper. Once you've gone the length of your paper, go ahead and open it up and sort of flatten it out. And for your second sheet of paper, go ahead and cut some long strips. Now you can make these strips all the same length, or it can be kind of fun to make a pattern with skinnier or thicker strips. But what we're going to do is we're just going to weave it over under. So you take your first strip of paper and you go over, and then under, and then over, and then under, and then we're going to jump ahead here. So once you've gone all the way, kind of line it up. If you have some glue, you could glue the ends down if you want to. It's not necessary. But as we add more pieces, we snug it up. Now when you move on to the next one, if you started over on this strip, you're going to start under for your next one. So weaving back and forth, over, under, over, under, until you've made it all the way across. And you're just kind of making a pretty design. Now, you don't have to do over under exactly like this. There's other options. You could go over 2, under 1. You can kind of play with the pattern and see if you can make it look a little bit different, because it does different things if you skip 2 and then 1, or 2 then 2. So you can play with this a lot of different ways. So that's kind of just how to make paper weaving. I did another one out of some magazine just because it's kind of fun to try something different. This is a picture of a car and a picture of a flower if they were woven together. So I just cut up a magazine and wove those together. You can use whatever you find lying around the house. The only thing you need really is a pair of scissors. If you made something that looked really cool and you wanted to keep it as like a placemat, you could coat it with clear contact paper, and then you'd have a wipeable placemat. Anyway, I hope that you found that fun to make. A couple of books, if you're really into making that and want to try some more artwork involving weaving, the library has a fantastic book called Stitch and String Lab for kids with over 40 projects. Some of these use paper, some of them use yarn or string. There's a lot of fun stuff to make in this book. You can place a hold and bring it into the library closest to you. If you're looking for a good story that involves weaving, this is one that I enjoy called Rainbow Weaver by Teodora del, oh no, that's in Spanish. This one's in Spanish and English, bonus, by Linda Elevitz Marshall. And it's about a girl who grows up in Guatemala, which is famous for its skilled weavers. And she grows up watching her mother weaving, and so of course she wants to try it too. But there isn't enough yarn for her to practice weaving on, so she has to kind of find what's around to use for herself. So she comes up with a couple of different ideas to try, and then she finds a really great solution. And that's Rainbow Weaver by Linda Elevitz Marshall. Another cool book from the library's collection that looks at weaving is Songs from the Loom. This is a real story of a Diné girl, or Navajo girl, who learns to weave from her grandmother, also passed down through the family. And so here's a cool picture of her grandmother showing her how to spin the yarn. They do the whole process, the carding, the spinning, the weaving, and she's learning how to carry on those traditions. And you'll learn all about it in Songs from the Loom. So those are books that you can place on hold and pick up at your library. If you want to find more of our craft programs, please check us out at nolalibrary.org, and thanks for stopping by.